Who would win in a fight? Muhammad Ali or Bruce Lee? This question has been asked millions of times in bars and living rooms, on internet forums and podcast studios, in martial arts schools and boxing gyms around the world. The heavyweight champion of the world, 6'3", 210 pounds of sculpted muscle, against the greatest martial artist who ever lived, 5'7", 135 pounds of concentrated lightning. People have built careers debating this question. They have written books about it. They have created computer simulations, analyzed fighting styles, calculated reach advantages, compared knockout power to striking speed. And they have all missed the point entirely. Because the real question isn't who would win. The real question is why two men from completely different worlds, fighting completely different battles, ended up becoming mirrors of each other. This is that story. Not a fantasy about a fight that never happened, but the truth about two warriors who recognized in each other something that most people never saw. Muhammad Ali was born Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. on January 17, 1942, in Louisville, Kentucky. His father painted billboards and signs. His mother was a household domestic worker. They lived in a small pink house, in a segregated neighborhood, where the boundaries of black life were drawn with invisible but unbreakable lines. Young Cassius discovered boxing at 12 years old, after someone stole his bicycle. He told a police officer that he wanted to whip whoever took it. The officer, who happened to run a boxing gym, suggested he learn how to fight first. 6 years later, that angry boy with the stolen bicycle won an Olympic gold medal in Rome. But here's what most people don't know about that triumph. After Ali returned to America as an Olympic champion, after he had represented his country on the world stage, after he had draped himself in the American flag, he walked into a restaurant in his hometown and was refused service because of the color of his skin. The Olympic gold medal meant nothing. The World Championship meant nothing. In Louisville, Kentucky, in 1960, Cassius Clay was still just another black man who needed to know his place. Legend says he threw that gold medal into the Ohio River. Whether that's literally true or not, the symbolism is perfect. America had given him gold, then told him it didn't matter. He gave the gold back. This was the moment Muhammad Ali was born. Not in a boxing ring, not with a knockout punch, but in the quiet rage of a young man who realized that no amount of achievement would ever be enough for a system designed to diminish him. Now travel 6,000 miles west, and 16 months earlier, Bruce Lee was born Lee Jun-fan on November 27, 1940, in San Francisco's Chinatown. His father was a famous Cantonese opera star on tour in America. His mother came from one of the wealthiest Eurasian families in Hong Kong. 3 months after his birth, the family returned to Hong Kong, where Bruce would spend his childhood in a world that was neither fully Chinese nor fully Western. He was a child actor, appearing in films before he could read. He was a street fighter, brawling in the alleys and rooftops of Kowloon. He was a cha-cha dance champion, winning competitions across Hong Kong. And he was trouble. By the time he was 18, Bruce had been in so many street fights that his parents feared for his life. The gangs of Hong Kong had long memories and short tempers. So they sent him to America with $100 in his pocket and instructions to claim the citizenship that his San Francisco birth entitled him to. He arrived in a country that didn't want him. In 1959, Asian men in America were invisible at best, villainous at worst. The Chinese Exclusion Act had only been repealed 16 years earlier. Japanese internment camps were still fresh wounds in the national memory. The idea that an Asian man could be anything other than a servant, a villain, or a joke was simply not part of the American imagination. Bruce found work washing dishes in a restaurant. He enrolled at the University of Washington. He began teaching martial arts in parking lots and basements to anyone who would pay to learn. And he discovered something that would fuel his fire for the rest of his short life. The martial arts establishment didn't want him teaching non-Chinese students. They saw him as a traitor, sharing secrets that should remain within the community. Some challenged him to fights. Some threatened him. Some demanded he stop teaching foreigners or face consequences. Bruce refused. He believed that martial arts belonged to humanity, not to any single race or nation. He believed that knowledge should be shared, not hoarded. He believed that the walls people built to separate themselves from others were prisons for everyone, including those who built them. This was the moment Bruce Lee became Bruce Lee, not through a single event, but through the accumulating weight of being told he wasn't allowed, wasn't welcome, wasn't good enough. Two young men, two different continents, two completely different paths, but the same fire. Look closer at their stories, and the parallels become impossible to ignore. Both were told their dreams were impossible. Ali was told a black man from Louisville would never become heavyweight champion. Bruce was told an Asian man would never be a Hollywood star. Both were told to be grateful for whatever scraps the system offered. Ali was told he should thank America for letting him box. Bruce was told he should be happy with sidekick roles. Both were told to stay in their lane. Ali was told athletes shouldn't talk about politics or religion. Bruce was told martial artists shouldn't question traditional methods or mix styles. Both refused, again and again and again, and both paid the price for their refusal. Ali lost 3 years of his career, millions of dollars, and nearly his freedom. Bruce lost countless roles, faced death threats from traditional martial artists, and spent years in professional wilderness before Hong Kong finally gave him the chance. Hollywood wouldn't. But neither man ever considered backing down, because for both of them, the alternative to fighting was worse than any punishment the world could deliver. The alternative was becoming someone they weren't. Muhammad Ali's rise through boxing was meteoric. He talked when fighters were supposed to be humble. He danced when fighters were supposed to stand and trade. He was beautiful when fighters were supposed to be brutal. And he was unapologetically black when black men were supposed to apologize for existing. "I am the greatest," he would shout into any microphone pointed at him. "I am the greatest thing that ever lived." White America didn't know what to do with him. They had seen black athletes before. Joe Louis had been heavyweight champion. But Joe Louis knew how to be humble, how to be grateful, how to make white people comfortable. Muhammad Ali did none of those things. He joined the Nation of Islam. He changed his name from Cassius Clay, which he called his slave name, to Muhammad Ali. He refused to straighten his hair, or soften his speech, or pretend that America had treated him fairly. And then came Vietnam. In 1966, Muhammad Ali was drafted to fight in a war he didn't believe in, for a country that still treated him as less than human. His response became one of the most famous statements in American history. "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong. No Viet Cong ever called me the N-word." He refused to serve. He was stripped of his title. He was banned from boxing for 3 years during the prime of his career. He faced 5 years in prison. He became one of the most hated men in America and one of the most admired men in the world. While Ali fought his battle against the American government, Bruce Lee fought his own war against Hollywood. He had come to Los Angeles in 1964, determined to break into the film industry. He gave demonstrations that left audiences speechless. He trained celebrities who couldn't stop talking about his abilities. He created a screen presence that was unlike anything American television had ever seen. And he was told, again and again, that America wasn't ready for an Asian leading man. "Your eyes are too oriental. Your accent is too thick. Your English is too good. It makes you seem less authentic. American audiences won't accept a Chinese hero." The rejection was constant, relentless, soul-crushing. Bruce would watch actors with half his talent get roles he was born to play. He would see martial arts on screen, performed by people who had studied for months what he had mastered over decades. The cruelest moment came in 1971. Bruce had developed an idea for a television series. A Shaolin monk wandering through the American Old West, using martial arts and Eastern philosophy to help people. He called it The Warrior. He pitched it to Warner Brothers. They loved the concept, and they gave it to someone else. David Carradine, a white actor with no martial arts background, was cast in the lead role. The show was renamed Kung Fu. It ran for 3 seasons. It was a hit, and Bruce Lee watched from the sidelines as his creation was taken from him and given to someone who looked more acceptable to American audiences. 2 men, 2 systems, 2 versions of being told you don't belong. Ali was told that a black man shouldn't speak his mind. Bruce was told that an Asian man shouldn't be a star. They both refused to listen. Here's what most people don't know. Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee actually met, not in a ring, not in a fight, but in the way that warriors recognize each other across crowded rooms and busy lives. They moved in similar circles in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Hollywood parties, celebrity gatherings, the overlapping worlds of sports and entertainment where famous people collected other famous people like trading cards. When Ali spoke about Bruce Lee, his voice carried something unusual for a man known for calling himself the greatest. Bruce Lee was the greatest martial artist who ever lived, Ali said, not once, but many times, to many interviewers, over many years. Think about what that means. Muhammad Ali, who never admitted anyone was better than him at anything, who declared himself the greatest before he had proven it, and kept declaring it after everyone agreed, looked at Bruce Lee and saw someone he couldn't dismiss. He saw a master. Bruce was more subtle in his admiration, as he was subtle in most things. But those who knew him saw how he watched Ali's fights, how he studied Ali's footwork, his rhythm, his ability to make opponents miss by fractions of inches, how he incorporated Ali's defensive movement into his own teaching. Ali floats, Bruce told his students. He's not there when you think he's there. He's where he needs to be. That's what I'm trying to teach you. Don't be where your opponent expects. Be where you need to be. They recognized in each other the same thing. Not just skill, not just talent, but the refusal to be diminished. There's a story perhaps apocryphal, but widely repeated, about a conversation between them at a Hollywood gathering. Someone asked the inevitable question, who would win if you two fought? Ali reportedly smiled and said, "You see this little man, he's too fast. I can't hit what I can't see." Bruce reportedly laughed and said, "You see this big man. If he hits me once, I'm finished. I'd have to be very, very careful." Whether this exchange actually happened or not, what matters is that both men, in their public statements, always spoke of each other with genuine respect, not the false respect of competitors trying to seem humble. Real recognition of mastery. Ali refused to be a humble black athlete who thanked white America for the opportunity to entertain them. Bruce refused to be a stereotypical Asian who knew his place in the background of white stories. They were both told they were too much, too loud, too proud, too unwilling to play the roles that had been assigned to them, and they both kept being too much until the world had no choice but to accept them on their own terms. The question, who would win, misses everything that made these men great. They weren't fighting each other. They were fighting the same enemy, a system that wanted to put people in boxes, that wanted to limit what was possible based on what you looked like, that wanted to tell you who you were allowed to be. Ali fought that system with his fists and his words. Bruce fought it with his fists and his philosophy, and they both won. Not against each other, against the limitations the world tried to impose on them. There's a concept in Bruce Lee's philosophy called using no way as way, having no limitation as limitation. It means refusing to be confined by any single style, any single approach, any single definition of what's possible. It means being water, taking whatever shape is needed, flowing around obstacles rather than crashing into them. Muhammad Ali embodied this philosophy without ever studying it formally. He was supposed to be a heavyweight who stood flat-footed and traded power punches. He refused. He danced. He floated. He made the heavyweight division beautiful when it was supposed to be brutal. He was supposed to be a black athlete who stayed quiet about politics. He refused. He spoke. He protested. He sacrificed millions of dollars and years of his career for what he believed. He was water. He found his own way. Bruce Lee said, "Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own." Muhammad Ali said, "I don't have to be what you want me to be." Different words, same truth. When Bruce Lee died on July 20th, 1973, he was 32 years old. His body gave out just as the world was finally ready to accept him. Enter the Dragon, the film that would introduce him to American audiences as a leading man, was released 1 month after his death. He never saw his victory. Muhammad Ali lived much longer, but in some ways, his physical self began dying young too. The punishment he absorbed in the ring, the wars he waged against Frazier and Foreman and Norton, took their toll. Parkinson's disease claimed his voice, his movement, the physical gifts that had made him the greatest. But something else happened to Ali in his later years. He became beloved. The same America that had hated him for refusing to go to Vietnam, that had stripped his title and called him a traitor, that had wanted to see him humiliated and broken, that America eventually recognized what he had been all along. A man of principle, a man of courage, a man of courage, a man of courage. If he separates everything for what he believed, and never apologized for it. When Ali lit the Olympic torch in Atlanta in 1996, his hands shaking from Parkinson's, his face showing the damage of a lifetime of fighting, the crowd didn't boo. They wept. They cheered. They witnessed a moment of redemption that was decades in the making. Bruce Lee never got that moment of public redemption. He died too young. But his legacy achieved something similar. The man Hollywood rejected became the most influential action star in cinema history. The martial artist, they said, was too Asian became the template for every action hero who followed. The philosophy they dismissed as fortune cookie wisdom became studied in universities around the world. Every Asian actor who gets a leading role today walks through a door that Bruce Lee kicked open. Every black athlete who speaks their mind stands on ground that Muhammad Ali cleared. Think about the ripple effects. Without Muhammad Ali, there is no Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. No LeBron James speaking about social justice. No athletes using their platforms to demand change. Without Bruce Lee, there is no Jackie Chan, no Jet Li, no Donnie Yen, no Simu Lee as Shang-Chi, no generations of Asian actors who grew up believing they could be heroes, not sidekicks. These two men didn't just win their own battles. They made it possible for others to fight battles they would never see. That's what real greatness looks like. Not just personal achievement, but clearing a path so wide that others can walk through it for generations. They didn't fight each other. They fought for each other. For everyone who was ever told they were too much or not enough. For everyone who was ever put in a box and told to stay there. So who would win? The question answers itself when you understand what they were really fighting for. They both won. They won the only fight that mattered. The fight to be themselves. Muhammad Ali once said something that could have come directly from Bruce Lee's philosophy. I know where I'm going, and I know the truth, and I don't have to be what you want me to be. I'm free to be what I want. Bruce Lee once said something that could have been Ali's motto. Always be yourself. Express yourself. Have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and duplicate it. Two men, two continents, two completely different paths. One truth. The greatest victory isn't defeating another person. It's defeating the limitations others try to place on you. It's refusing to shrink. It's insisting on being exactly who you are, even when the whole world tells you to be something else. Muhammad Ali did that with every fight, every interview, every moment of his public life. Bruce Lee did that with every film, every demonstration, every word he wrote in his personal journals. They never fought each other in a ring. They didn't need to. They were on the same side, and they won. The next time someone asks you who would win in a fight between Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee, tell them the truth. They both already won. They won by being themselves. They won by refusing to be diminished. They won by showing the world that the greatest strength isn't in your fists. It's in your refusal to be anyone other than who you truly are. That's the real fight, and that's the fight that matters. Muhammad Ali, Bruce Lee, two warriors, one truth, forever champions.